welcome to Vlogmas day 22. It's Tuesday of Christmas week, so we're drawing to a close here with Vlogmas. I hope you had a lovely solstice yesterday. I did. It was such a pretty day and just a very low-key day. I did have to actually finish up a little bit of admin work, but I got that out of the way first thing yesterday morning. And then I did not really spend the rest of the day crafting, which was what my imagination said that I would do on my first day of my break. But I did spin some last night. I can show you that in a little bit. I spun 2 days worth of fiber from my Advent. Yeah, I've got about a week's backlog, so it was good to get a couple of those days done. Yeah, I put the first fire of the year in, which was lovely. That really heats our house up whenever we put a fire in. So it was just nice because I spent time yesterday outside, not only in the morning when I took my walk and took you on my walk, but I spent some time bringing firewood in from our firewood piles and putting them on the porch. So that was nice. It was just a very nice day. So today is day 2 of my vacation, my holiday break. I don't know. I keep telling my family I'm on vacation, but I'm still doing stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do today. I think I'm going to start out by doing some crafting. I need to get yesterday's Vlogmas going too, but other than that, I think I'm going to start a hat. I don't have the pattern printed out, but I will share that with you a little bit later when I get that started. And I'm going to open today's Advent, so I need to turn the camera around. I consolidated everything last night into this one basket since there's not much left up either one. This ended up being yesterday's yarn, which you probably already saw. This is the same yarn that I had for the first day, and I'm not going to put it in the socks again. I decided I like it, it's pretty, but I just don't want another stripe of that in there. So since I already have an extra stripe that I accidentally put in there, I figure I'm still okay. I've got the right number of stripes. And these are all of my fiber bumps that are still waiting to go. So let's pick one of these and see what it is for today. And we'll get day 22 also. Okay. This is a pretty greenish, looks like green with like an overwash of gray or blue on it. It's really pretty. A lot of depth to that. Actually, it's from Murky Depths Dye Works. And it's called No More Shall We Part. I don't know the reference, but it's a very pretty color, so I will definitely be putting that in my sock today. Socks, plural. And then day 22 of the fiber. Speckled day. Oh, this was one of my favorites when I was dyeing them. So, yay. This one kind of reminded me of a winter sunrise. Those colors. So you can see the color progression of these 6 that I now have left to do. Here's where I ended last night. So yeah, you can kind of see the one that I did. The first one I did was this green, and then this is a variegated, one of the speckled ones. So this will come next and pick up those. There's purple in there. It's looking a little bit more blue right now. Day 22 stripes on my socks. I think what I've decided I'm going to do, since I only have 2 more days, is I think with tomorrow's mini, I'm going to do a toe on both socks. And then day 24, whatever that is, I will use that for the afterthought heels. And then my socks will be done. Instead of just doing stripes with all of them and then going back and choosing extra yarn to, do the toes and the heels. I think that would be a good idea because that would leave my cuff at about a little over 5 inches, which is perfectly long enough for me. I don't like super high cuffs on my socks, so I am happy with that plan. And again, I did not put yesterday's mini in just because it was the same as this. I mean, it would have looked fine. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it, so I didn't do it. Although I have no idea what the last 2 minis are going to be, and if they end up being repeats of any of these, I may have to pick and choose which ones I want to use, so we'll see. I think it's funny how many of these early ones on had these pinks, and they spaced out fairly well, especially where I made my mistake of duplicating. And then these latter ones didn't have so much pink in them, so that's interesting. But I'm enjoying it. I just feel funny when I'm talking to you for a prolonged period and I'm pointing the camera at something that's not really doing anything. So someone asked where I got my Advent set from and when it was on sale. So the yarn one that I'm doing, I did not buy. This was a mini swap that was coordinated by Marion from Marionated Yarns, and it was a whole bunch of indie dyers that we swapped with each other. And it's been a lot of fun. So that wasn't one that I purchased. It was one that we just all took part in as a group of indie dyers, which... yeah, so that wasn't anything ordered. The fiber one that I'm doing, that's the one I dyed for Fiber Nymph Dye Works, my yarn company. I did yarn and fiber ones. I have not started my yarn one, obviously, yet. But I think I put those up for pre-order this year, maybe in June. It's usually at least 4 or 5 months before they ship, because I always ship the beginning of November. So anyway, the best way, this isn't meant to turn into a commercial, but the best way to stay on top of that is like subscribe to my newsletter from my website. And then you'll know when that kind of stuff's going up if you're interested in my sets. They're called holiday countdown sets. I don't call them Advent sets, but anyway. So that's the scoop on my mini sets that I'm using. I'm not sure what I'm going to work on now. I think maybe I'm going to pull out the yarn that I chose and print out the pattern for a hat that I think I'm going to try making for Emma. It's worsted weight. It should go really fast. So this is the yarn that I'm going to use for the hat. This was some onyx yarns. I don't remember what she calls her worsted weight base, but I think the colorway was called Burst. It's actually not very true to color right now, although it does have all these beautiful colors in it. It's really lovely. It's just a little bit darker than what you're seeing, I think. Anyway, so I'm going, ooh, I was going to use that, but maybe not, because it's not going to fit in there. Huh, interesting. Anyway, I realized why I did not print the pattern out, because it's actually very graphic heavy. It's by Mildred Alvarez, and it's called Against the Clock. Let's see if I can, yeah, here's a picture of it. It's a nice textured pattern, and Emma's into tighter fitting beanies as opposed to slouchy beanies right now, so I think that'll be a good choice. So I have been sitting here this morning. It's now actually 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, still in my jammies. Don't judge. I'm on vacation. It's my excuse for everything right now. Anyway, I've been working on this hat, which I did the ribbing, and then I started working on it, and then I started just doing my own thing, and then realizing my own thing wasn't working super well either. So I ripped back to following the pattern. I think I'm trying to put this in light that you can see. I decided to start doing my own thing, which involved slip stitches, because I felt like you weren't really seeing the texture that I wanted to be able to see, that I could see like in the pattern picture. But the pattern was made out of a solid yarn, a solid color yarn. I don't think you're going to see any texture in this crazy yarn. I mean, I love these colors, and I do really like how it's turning out with the hat, but quite honestly, I probably could have just done a plain vanilla sock or a vanilla hat, stockinette hat, and it would have been fine. I do like the pearls, though, because it breaks things up a little bit. I think you'd see more of this kind of flashing and pooling if I would have done a stockinette hat, so I think it'll be fine. This is sort of a broken ribbish kind of pattern. So that'll help pull it in. And, you know, Emma wanted something that was snug, so it'll probably be good. Again, I really, really like the colors, but yeah, I'm thinking about this way too much. I need to just follow the pattern, make the darn hat, and be done with it. The crown of this hat, the crown, that's the hand signal for crown. The crown of this hat is really cool, so I can't wait to show that to you whenever I get to it. I just put a fire in, so we've got a fire going again today. It's very windy out, and the house is starting to cool off. It was actually pretty warm all day today from the fire I had last night. I'm struggling mentally because suddenly today, which is what, Christmas Eve, today I'm suddenly like, oh my gosh, I need to knit all the gifts. I need to bake all the cookies and the things because I had already come to peace with the fact that I was not knitting a lot of Christmas gifts this year. This is my brain today, and it's probably going at exactly this speed, if not faster, thinking about all the things that I should have knit months ago, and I didn't because I'm like, I'm not knitting this year for Christmas. I do this every year. That's not true. Some years I do actually plan to knit, and then I still just don't get it done on time. I'm supposed to be relaxing, right? Because I'm on vacation. So there's the female hairy woodpecker. Both the females of the hairy and downy woodpeckers, they don't have any red on their heads, so that's how you know that they're a female. Only the males have the red spot on the back of their heads. This one, though, you know, is hairy because it's much bigger than the downies. The downies are much more petite. And they have barred outer tail feathers, but you can't see those from here anyway, so those are tricky to see. Just took a shower. It was a very hot shower, which is why I'm in a tank top, because I'm very warm right now. But I came in the bedroom and I thought, you know what, I really want to be able to put those bins away that have all the knitwear in them, so I thought I'm going to just go over the rest of the knitwear stuff that I didn't get to show you the other day so that I can then take out what I want to take out and just put everything else away. And those bins will not be in the middle of my floor. So, are you ready? We're going to just zoom through a lot of this. I am not going to remember the names of a lot of these patterns, and I will therefore do what I did the other day and put the pattern name at the bottom of the screen as I talk about them. Yeah, let's go. I found a bunch more shawls after I showed you shawls the other day, both large and small, but I'm just going to go through this pile. This is one that I knit. It's a Shetland lace pattern. I don't remember the name of it. I want to say the designer was Evelyn somebody, maybe. I don't know. This was knit out of Vlogmas, though. This was a skein of Vlogmas I got at a Loopy U Spring Fling. It was beautiful. I don't think there was an actual colorway name on it, but I do wear it a lot whenever we're going out. Like, I wear it under some of my jackets and stuff like this, and I think it's so pretty. Clearly, I have not been wearing it much lately because we haven't been going anywhere. This shawl, this falls in the category of a big shawl that's a weird shape, and again, I've never really figured out how to wear it. This was a project, forget what it's called, Project Peace pattern that happens every year around this time, like through Advent. I'm not even sure which way this goes. Oh gosh, I don't know. But anyway, this is how big it is, and this is the shape. It's like, it's an elongated asymmetrical triangle. It's got this really pretty lace edging. And I used some hazel knits. It was a big wheel skein. I have never worn this, I'll be honest with you. When I knit it, I thought, well, maybe I'll give it to a friend as a gift. Because I do have a friend who really likes these colors. And I may someday still give it to her. It's just been in my box. But like, this just feels weird wearing it this way. I don't really know the best way to give it or to wear it. That's why I've never given it away either, because it's like, I don't want to say, here's a weird shaped knit thing, would you like it? This I knit out of hand spun, and And this was my own pattern. This, well, I made it up as I went along. This is another one of my elongated triangular shawls that I make just with my little recipe. And on this one, I just inserted some slip stitch motif, and then I did this little edging at the bottom where I dropped some stitches. I never wrote down what I did. I'm not sure if I could replicate it or not. I like it. It's kind of verging on a medium size shawl. I've honestly never worn this one much either, but it would make a nice one like this. And I think the reason I haven't worn it a lot is just because I don't always have it out. So that's why I'm going through these. I'm going to like leave this one out so I can hopefully wear it. I really like it. The yarn is so soft. It had, whatever it was, either had bamboo or silk in it. I think this was some sanguine griffin yarn, a bat. I don't know what the lighter stuff was. Then there's this, which I've never really worn this much. Again, it's a crescent shape. Don't remember the pattern. I want to say maybe it was a Kirsten Kapoor pattern. The yarn is from 3 Irish Girls. It was something I got in one of their clubs that I was in for a while. The main reason I keep this shawl is because I was working on this project when we were visiting my oldest son right before he left on his first deployment to Afghanistan. That is why I keep this shawl. Even though I may never ever wear it, it has those kind of memories, you know? It's what I knit on that trip. This one is another one that I knit using my elongated triangle recipe. This one's nice and big. Actually, I don't know why I don't use this one more. I think I used to, and then I got other shawls. But I knit this one shortly after Bill and I started dating, because I remember working on it up here. And actually, the finished project picture was taken up here. Yeah, so this is some Plymouth tweed. The orange is Plymouth tweed. The red and the green, I think, were some Kathmandu, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it's a nice size shawl. It's a nice one to just wrap up into. I'm trying to think, is this one long enough that I can put the, yeah, I could kind of put the ends and tuck them in the back. So I'll be leaving this one out so I can actually use it more. This is probably the first shawl I ever knit, when I was first learning to knit. And it is the Clapetee, you know, the one that everybody and their uncle has probably knit from back in the day. I probably knit in 2007. And this was knit out of some Noro, it's silk, not Silk Garden. It's another one that's silky, I don't remember. But I really like it, and I do use this one quite a bit. It's usually out. It's often on the back of that chair out in the porch room. Matter of fact, I had this on yesterday when I was doing my solstice walk. It was underneath my other shawl. And I also had on yesterday just because I had pulled it out of that bin. This is the Multnomah, and this one goes this way, right? Yeah. I knit this out of hand spun, and this was also some Sanguine Griffin. These were bats, and I stripped the bats down and separated out all the colors and then spun them. It was funny, I met Griffin at a Loopy U Spring Fling, and I had this with me, and I was like, look! I knit this out of yarn that I spun from your fiber, and I took your bat and I took it apart and put the colors together, and she didn't seem super impressed. She was probably thinking, I went to all the trouble to make that bat. Why did you take it apart? I don't know. It was an odd conversation. But anyway, it's a small shawl. So again, that's another one that works better as a kerchief. All right, I think that's all the shawls. Oh God, please let that be all the, well, that's all the big shawls. I have a whole other stack of like scarflets and shawlettes. We'll do those next. This one I just did, I think last year. This was all the yarn I had in the little tiny skein that I had, and I wanted to use it. I don't remember the name of the pattern. It's almost too small though to do this with, unless you really just tuck it up under there. The yarn itself is actually a little on the edge of too toothy for even me. It needs a good soak in something to help soften it up. This is the Nurmelintu. Sorry. This was an end-to-end little scarflet. You can see where I totally goofed something up right there. I did this out of hand spun too. This was a loop bullseye bump that I spun. I really like it. I do wear this one from time to time, and like I do the, that's what I mainly do with small stuff. I wear it like that, you know. I do it a little better than that, but okay, this is another clapetee, but I made it narrower, and I also did this out of hand spun, which I used as a show sample for a long time. This was a Poseidon's Love gradient, I want to say, maybe. And then this gray end was just in a weird spot. But it's a nice drapey shawl, and this was out of some merino bamboo, so it's really soft. This, I do not remember the name of this. Like, everybody in the world knit this back in the day. It's like a lot of eyelet rows in there, and it's another one, end to end. You start at one end, and then you weigh it, and then you start going back the other way when you get the halfway point. This was some Highland Handmaids yarn, and I don't remember anything else about it. This is an Augustine shawlette. This is the original Augustine shawlette that I knit. This was some diabolical yarns in like a one-off colorway, like an autumnal colorway. And I really love this scarf. It's great for the fall, like when you're just getting into the cold weather. And I can wear it like that. And then, if you watch the podcast, you've seen that I did a second one. Actually, this is a third one because I did another one as a show sample one time too. That's not in this pile. So this is the one I did this year out of my Urban Girl Yarns Ruth Bader Ginsburg colorway. This one turned out much larger because this was a larger skein of yarn. And I love this one. I love the light color of it with all the fun flecks. So I like this because, like the clapetee, it's got those dropped stitches and it's very drapey. So that makes me happy. Sorry, there's a light pull chain right above me. I keep whapping it. Okay, last scarf. This is something, I did this 2 Advents ago. This is, I don't remember the name of it, but it's basically a chevron pattern. It turned out pretty narrow. I really wish I would have done like one more repeat of it to make it wider. Plus it's so long, I think the weight of it just pulls it and makes it longer. But here it is, like this is half of it. Okay, and then here's the other half. It's folded in half. So yeah, it's super long. You could triple this, quadruple it. Usually when I wear it though, I just fold it in half and wear it. I either like loop the ends through the bottom loop, you know, like that. Can secure it with its shawl pin or pull these so that it's a little bit snugger. I've done that. Although then you just have to watch that you don't like get caught indoors. Whap! Ah! So anyway, either that way or I've also worn it doing this and then taking one half and this half and then putting a shawl cuff around here and leaving the other 2 open. I like wearing it that way too. So really love that. I love chevron patterns. Okay, we're going to go into cowls now. This one I just finished recently. I still haven't even woven in the ends. This is the Rio Kalina cowl by Kat Bordy that I do like. It's just, I don't know. I wish it was a little snugger, but it's nice. I will wear this eventually. I will actually wear this. This was my Advent project last year, and I made this cowl using the Sweet Sparrow Yarns Advent mini calendar that I bought. And this was another thing that I just did. I winged it. I was just doing a different thing every day. I'm trying to find the beginning where it was seamed because I did a provisional cast on and then I did a tube cowl basically, or a tube scarf, and then connected the 2 ends at the end. So every day I knit, and then as I would go into the next day I would overlap the colors, you know, I would alternate them, but I would do it in some sort of color worky kind of way. So all the color work that I did in here was just stuff that I was making up as I went along. Yeah, I never wrote any of this down. It was just fun to just sort of make it up on the fly. And I love this cowl. It's really soft. Did I go all the way around? Yeah, that's the beginning. We won't keep going. Even though it's an infinity cowl, I don't have to keep you here for the infinity of time. So this one I can probably triple. I think I usually have worn it just doubled though. It's really soft. It's really cozy and squishy because it's a double fabric to begin with. I really like this. And it was a lot of fun to do. I think this, I would definitely do something like this again with a set of Advent minis. Yeah. Okay. This is my Takushcha cowl. This was my design. I designed it for a club that I did a long time ago. And this is the Magic Carpet colorway in my Bonafide DK weight base. Really fun textured pattern. And actually that's what Takushcha means in Japanese, is texture. So that was a lot of fun. This cowl, I love this cowl. I did not knit this cowl. This was gifted to me by Darren from Amy and Darren. They used to have a podcast. Amy is Froggy Monkey. Darren is DJ Knits a Lot. Do you remember him? Anyway, he knit this cowl for me and gifted it to me. It was so sweet of him. This is the upstairs downstairs cowl, and it was knit out of some Miss Babs Biker Chick is the colorway. I wear this cowl so much. As a matter of fact, it's great for wearing under my motorcycle jackets because it's lightweight and I can just cross it over like that, and it just helps keep that air from going down the front of my jacket when it's still chilly. So I wear this a lot. I wear it paddling too sometimes, but I do get a lot of use out of this. Okay, this one, I don't remember the name. This is a Mobius kind of design that you seam together to get the twist in it. It was a lot of fun. This was one of the first projects I did when after I learned how to cable without a cable needle. And this was like a 12-stitch cable. So you were crossing, I think, like 6 stitches over 6 stitches. No, maybe it was even more than that. 2, 4, 6. 8, 10, I don't know. It was at least 6 over 6, and with worsted weight yarn. This is really pretty, and I wore it a lot when I first made it. It is a little snug doubled over, but yeah, it's all twisted up right now. Sorry, I don't know why I'm bothering to put some of these on for you, because I'm not really leaving them on for you to see. But it's pretty, it's soft. This, I believe, was also some Diabolical yarn. Yeah, I love Rachel's yarn. She's not dying anymore. I still have some in my stash though. Okay, this, I believe this is the Monster Cowl maybe. I knit this as a shop sample or show sample when I was doing inversibles in my worsted weight. And I only ever did those that way one time. I'm planning to do some in January though for the shop. But I did this with a black and white inversible set, and then I just added in occasional pink stripes, and it was a lot of fun. So again, chevrons, big win. The next two, these are my woven cowls that I've been doing. My houndstooth. I always get the word wrong. Houndstooth woven fringy cowls. So I weave the strip, and then after they're hem stitched, I leave the fringe long and I hem stitch together, or I stitch it together where the two ends are, and then I just trim the fringe and you get a fringy cowl. I left the fringe a little longer on this one. I like this one a little bit better, but I've worn both of them a good bit, and this one I just finished. This one I've worn a lot. I really like these. I did not bring in any of my funky fringy cowls that I just designed this year because they're all over in the other room in my sample bin. So, along with, there's a bunch of other things over there that are in my sample bin that I'm not showing you just because I didn't drag them out, but I also don't wear them super regularly. Okay, this is the Andrea Mowry shift cowl or night shift, or is it the night shift? I can't remember which shift this is. This, I really wanted the finished object. I found it really, really boring to make, but I like it now that I have it done. Yarn I used was some Stonehenge fibers, like Crazy Skeins or something. I did not use Spin Cycle for this, but I really like how it turned out. And then this one I just had on the other day and talked about it. This is the Sockhead Cowl, also out of Handspun. Handspun makes really good cowls. That was some Hiwassee Creek Dye Works, I'm pretty sure. And I love these colors. They are amazing. Okay, we're getting towards the end. Hats and head things. This is just a little beanie that I randomly knit, no pattern. I ended up putting little tiny cables and baubles in it. It's also got a lot of cat hair sticking to it. Don't mind that. I think I was going to try to write down the design, but then it went off the edge and I never did. And it's actually kind of small. It would be a good hat for camping, for sleeping when you're camping, if it didn't have baubles that would be poking into your head. So. This is one of my favorite hats to camp in, though. I don't remember what this yarn was. I got it from Webb's on a closeout. The colorway was Bazinga, though. That's probably why I bought it. I really like it. It's super warm and it fits me really well. I'm not going to put these hats on right now, but this is a really good one for camping and sleeping in it. This is a sockhead hat, which is kind of a little too big on me, and actually it probably should be thrown in the washer and the dryer to shrink up a little bit, or given to someone with a larger head. That was a one-off skein of mine that I dyed a long time ago. This is a really fun color work hat that I did kits for. The pattern is by Sarah Jordan, and I'm completely blanking on the name of the pattern. I suck. Anyway. And this is one of my outdoorsy headbands and cowls, so you can wear it multiple ways. You can wear it this way as a cowl. You can wear it up over your head. See, I just said I wasn't going to put things on my head. You can double it over and wear it just over your ears as an ear warmer. Really easy, great for scraps. And then I have these little half granny square triangle headbands, or kerchiefs basically, which it's that same pattern that I showed you with the crocheted shawl the other day, just smaller, kerchief size, and then I put a button in it, and that's the great thing about crochet is they have built-in buttonholes. Oh, this is my sheep head hat that I knit out of Jameson years ago. I really love this. I was super proud of this. This is some of my first really major color work I ever did. It's too big on me. I've tried to shrink it up, but it's still a little too large on me. This one fits me better. This is the, what is this? This is one of the Shetland Wool Week patterns. And I don't remember the yarn that I used, but I think this is Tamar, Black or Tamar. I can't remember what the other two colors were, but I really like this, and this does fit me pretty well. I also knit the Katie's cap that was this year's Shetland Wool Week color pattern. It is also too huge on me. I've got to figure out how to size down with these Shetland patterns and get them smaller, or knit them tighter or something, because they tend to just be so oversized, and it's a shame to do all that color work and then not really be able to wear it. Okay, lastly, I've just got some handwear. This, I think, was one of the very first pairs of mitts or mittens I ever made. It was my own pattern. I just winged it. I think, actually, no, I made one pair of mittens, which are actually out in my car right now. And after that, I made these, and I just did my own thing. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, this was my original pattern because they were knit flat, so they're and seamed up. That was the seam. Then I rewrote the pattern for a second version that you can do in the round. Both of them are up on Ravelry. Lots of people have made them. It's been a good pattern. This is just a pair of mittens that I knit on the fly, basically based on my own hand, because I would knit it and then I'd just try it on and see what I needed to do, so it really does fit the outline of my hand pretty well.
And then these are just some like wrist warmer mitts. They're really long, almost like gauntlets sort of. And this is long, or you can fold it down. No pattern, again, they're just ribbed, and I just kind of did my own thing with them. I do that a lot. I find that a happy thing, to just sort of knit and do my own thing and make it up as I go along. So that is the majority of my hand knits, aside from stuff that I have in a bin that is show samples that I'm not showing you. Maybe I'll show it some other time on the podcast or something. But yeah, I'm going to go through this giant stack of stuff right now and pull out what I want to put in the closet and what I'm going to just leave in the bin and put away. And then I'm going to go and wrap Christmas presents, and then I'm going to knit on that hat. And this is really long already, so I'm not sure how much more I will record today. But if I don't get back to any more recording, then I will talk to you tomorrow. So we'll leave this as a goodbye, but I might come back and put something else in. I don't know.